Someone gave me this video. It's viral right now. It's got 1.7 million views. Sparked a very interesting conversation, which we're going to talk about it. I do not know who these gentlemen are, though. I have no idea who the speaker is. I have no idea who the other people are. But they have talked about something interesting, so let's listen to it together.
But some societies, like Koreans, they might have a God complex, but they don't have a history of oppression.
Are you fucking out of your
Yeah,
mind?
what the fuck?
Koreans didn't have slaves.
Did
That's
Koreans
why.
have slaves?
Yeah, Google that.
Yeah, because I think that's fucking wrong.
We were kidding
Korea
about
had
the
the
Koreans.
longest unbroken chain of slavery of any society in history, spanning 1,500 years. Fuck off.
That's not what it says. Zoom it in. My eyes are blurry. I want to read it, all right?
Read it out loud.
Korea had the longest unbroken chain of slavery of any society in history. Holy shit.
Yeah, so I do appreciate the fact that he was willing to admit that he was wrong on the issue. The reality is every single society throughout human history had slaves. Like, this is not something controversial outside of America. It's not something bewildering. But because of the way the American culture goes, especially with the current state of affairs, the idea is that America is systemically racist, therefore it's an evil country because they had slaves. Right? So this means that you must ignore the humanity of everyone else. Like, human beings across the world were very territorial. Like, this is part of humanity. So every society, every culture, especially back in the medieval time and before that, they had slaves. Now, what's interesting about it is that on Twitter, a lot of people are trying to obfuscate now. And they're saying, well, yeah, but it wasn't slavery, it was serfdom. And I'm like, well, okay, fine. If you were to treat someone today the same way you would treat a medieval peasant, you would be arrested for slavery. Right? So I do not understand like this idea. Like, somehow it's worse to do it on a person that's of different ethnicity or race. Like, no, I think it's worse to do it on anyone. It shouldn't be done, period, right? Like, is that okay? Oh, well, even if you do it to a family member, it's not okay. Right? Like, if someone did it to their own brother, and it's like, literally, it's blood, right? It's really, if a husband does it to the wife, like, what does it matter? The relationship and the heritage and the pending, no, it's wrong, period. Shouldn't be done. Other people were saying, yeah, but like, this doesn't ignore what America is doing. And look at this. One Google search on Wiki does not research make. Look deeper and you will find vast differences, both in timing, economic systems, and treatment. It's not context. Stop ignoring the impacts of American slavery on our current system here. Like, first of all, there are countries right now that are practicing slavery outside the United States. But for some reason, no one talks about them. I'm willing to bet they can't even name them. And the reason being is because you can't get political clout from talking about it. Thomas Sowell actually says this. Secondly, the person said that Korea doesn't have a history of oppression. But I'm sorry to break it to you, every nation on earth has a history of oppression. Every nation on earth does bad things today. Why? Because it's part of humanity. Every human being is neither perfectly good or perfectly evil. Every person does good things, and every person does bad things. So to deny the bad in a nation or in a person is to deny the humanity, just like denying the good in a nation or a person would be to deny humanity, because humanity comes in a package. You don't get to pick and choose. It's not exactly slavery, but serfdom. It's not the same. Man, again, like, if someone was to make you a serf today, it would be illegal. It would be considered a crime. It would be considered slavery. But, you know, like, I guess their argument is because the Koreans didn't have the technology or the capability to travel to Africa and get slaves, then they get a pass, right? But it's interesting because they do not talk about the British who abolished slavery. Like, they used their military and naval might in order to stop the Islamic Empire and other countries from continuing the slavery, right? Like, the Congo kings didn't really appreciate when the British Empire forced them to stop the slave trade. They don't talk about that. Why? Because it's political. Because in the United States, it's not education. It's just saying and cherry picking parts from history. Which, by the way, yeah, I agree they're bad. But why not point the accurate picture? Right? Like other nations did it. It was the British Empire that had a pivotal role in stopping it. And we do not do it today. But there are other countries that do it today. Why do you not say these things? Why are you afraid of them? Why are you scared of them? Again, I'm not even American. Like, I don't even have a horse in this race. But they're important things to talk about. Like, if America was actually so bad and it had such a racist reputation, why would minorities go there? Why would people from Africa emigrate to the United States? It should be the other way around. Like, you'd have minorities fleeing the United States, going to Mexico, going to Africa. We had this under the Iron Curtain here in Eastern Europe when things were so bad because of what the communists did. What the communists did, they locked the borders. They turned Eastern Europe into one of the biggest prisons of the planet, and people still tried to flee from Eastern Europe. Like, they risked their life trying to go from East Germany to West Germany. Even today, you have the same situation with Korea. You have people from North Korea that want to flee. And they're trying their best in order to reach South Korea. And they're risking their lives. Why? Because it's legitimately a bad place. So when you actually have a place which is actually bad, people try to run away from it. But you don't see that happening with the United States now, do you? You do not see people trying to flee the US. It's like, and this is the type of education that they're promoting. Not necessarily in schools, but they're promoting in culture, right? Like right now. In America, that's the cultural zeitgeist. That America is evil, that it's irredeemable, that it did things that no other country on earth did. And every other country must be pure, good, and innocent, right? Now, I want to tell you something interesting that I find actually fascinating. And I don't have a study about this, but I do speak with a lot of people. And I noticed that I can't find a single, not one, left-leaning identity politics individual who traveled the world. Like, I can't find a single person that would claim that America is a systemic racist country if they travel the world. And by traveling the world, I mean living in at least 2, maybe 3 different countries, right? So especially if it's outside of Europe, like maybe they lived a couple of years in Japan or China, and then they moved and lived a couple of years in Africa, and then they came to America. Not a single person like that is going to be into the Baizuo mentality. Fascinating. Same with India, right? Like if you have a person that lived in India for a while, and then maybe lived in Europe for a couple of years, and then comes into the United States, they will have like a completely different mindset where this type of ideology just doesn't penetrate them. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section.